All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the studio this evening. I'm happy to be with you this evening. I'm stoked to be painting with you this evening. To do an old tractor. I almost said a green tractor. It's a blue tractor. I mean, we can make it green. I guess we can. It's our tractor. We can make it any color we want. But I'm happy to be painting this tractor with you. Let's get down onto my tabletop and take a look at it. Whoa, where is it? There it is. Like I said, it's a blue tractor. It's over there. And I'm throwing one change at everyone this evening. I've changed the paper that I'm using. I found my old stack of B paper, so this is drawn on B paper this evening. That means I've got some additional considerations to take care of. We'll talk about those when we come to them. Sudike is here. Hello, hello, hello. I'm glad you made it. Over here, lower right-hand side, as always, I've got my M. Graham watercolor paints in my color around 10. Love my color around 10. I'm happy to talk about that with anybody later if you want. And the brushes that I'm going to be using this evening, I'm going to pull one out of the old brush holder. Whoop. I'm still using my King Art Series 9020 brushes. These are the pointed round brushes. I love these brushes. I just think they're fantastic. And with that, I'm going to get going. Actually, I'm going to clean off this tray right there just a little bit. Lumandina, hello. Looks like a very good subject. Thank you. Jacqueline is here. Welcome back, Jacqueline. Good to see you again. So I'm looking at my tractor here, and I'm going to try to paint this in a couple of different parts. And I want to walk through how I'm going to do this. And here goes. So as I'm looking at the reference photo, and you can see over here, I'm going to make reference to it with my brush here. So this part of the tractor, basically here, is, and we'll include this part down here too, is basically blue with a little bit of rust on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this whole bit in one series, all right, all at one time with blue, and then we'll put our rust on it. And then all the internal workings in here, the gubbins, if you will, whatever you want to call this, where the engine is at and whatnot, that's a little different. That to me looks more brown, more rusty with a little blue on it. So I'll paint the body, then we'll go and we'll probably paint, I don't know, a wheel or two, something like that. Then we'll come back and we'll paint this, but the color order is kind of going to be flipped here because the major color on the body is blue. The major color on the internals here is brown. Our wheels here, right? Our hubs are way rusted, right? They're really rusty here. So, of course, that's going to be mostly brown. Same thing up here. A dash of blue in the center. Back here, same thing also. We do have some blue in between the tires. You can just see it in that photo. And then when we're done with all that, then we'll come and we'll paint the background. Then we'll paint the trees behind it and then begin on a foreground. I don't know why I paint my background last. I guess I just like to get right to painting the subject and jump right in. So with that, I'm going to jump right in. How about that? I'm going to mix up some cerulean blue. This tractor looks to be pretty cerulean blue to me. I don't want a super thick mixture of it, but a nice mix of cerulean blue. And while I've got it here and I've got some on my palette, this red, that's a mix of all kinds of reds here. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to put some of this burnt umber into it. Oh, I got something new here. I got something new. Maybe it's not new. I don't know. Here, look, I've got this. Here you go. Here are the colors that are on my palette. You can see down in the corner for anybody who wants to see what those are. There we go. We got some nice rust colored here. And with that, I think I'm about ready to paint. We've got a few people in here. Oh, Margaret's back. Hello, Margaret. Got a few people here this evening. Excuse me. I need to get a drink already. Look, I'm all out of Tang. I have to say, I had to stop. I don't know if I'm allowed to show the label. Probably am. I had to stop at a fast food restaurant and get a drink. Oh man, now it dripped. It's very icy and cold, and it's dripping on everything. What I was going to say is, for those people who are new, please feel free to ask any questions. I love answering questions. It's the interaction of these live videos that really makes it fun and worthwhile. And if you ask questions, other people will ask questions. You can ask questions to me about my art history, my philosophy on just about anything. It's a colorful picture. It might take longer than an hour. When have I ever held a painting to only an hour? That's always my goal, and I never make it. It's always my goal. Okay, so before I get started, here's one thing I do know about B paper. Okay, and can I do this? I think I can do this. B paper is, I hope you can hear that. It's thin paper. It's not very thick. They say it's 140 pounds, but it's thin and it doesn't have a whole lot of tooth on it. This, oh, you can hear the difference. This is a vulture that I'm working on. Listen how deep of a sound that is. This is much higher in tone. This is a thicker paper, has a thicker tooth on it that you can feel. So the water on this one is going to run. It's going to spread a little bit more. But what's weird about this paper is it only spreads after it's wet. Okay, now hang with me. And it'll continue to push out. But if I just put some paint from this brush right on here right now, it'll soak it in like that, and it'll make hard lines on there. So knowing the limitations of this paper, I have to pre-wet the area that I'm painting in. So I don't have to be perfect about it, but I've got to be pretty close. So I'm going to pre-wet this. I just thought about that because I painted last night also on B paper, and I ran into that problem. Margaret, you're funny. It's going to take me longer than an hour. Of course it's going to take me longer than an hour. I always go, oh, I'm only going to do this for an hour. It'll be easy. We can get this done. And then an hour and 40 minutes later, as my mind is going, woo, I'm going, wait a minute. I thought this was going to be an easy one to paint. But it's okay. It's okay. It's fun to paint with friends, though. So that makes it all worthwhile. Okay, now that I've pre-wetted that area, I'm going to go back in and dab in some of this color. And I will say the nice thing about pre-wetting this is that that water will help to push this color around a little bit. And we don't have to do quite so much work to get this paint to flow and just make this beautiful area. Let's see, let's go over the corner of that, and yeah, about like that. Jacqueline, it is kind of like a, I don't know if it's like a Bounty paper towel, but it's kind of like a paper towel. It is. Maybe the Bounty people should start making watercolor paper. How about that? I'm going to call them up. That's a business opportunity right there. Okay, and while I'm doing this, I'm going to update everybody because we here in Central California, Central Coast of California, have finally had rain. It was so nice. It rained for 2 days. It was so nice to get rain. Now I'm in a waiting period where I'm waiting for the hills to start to green up a little bit. Our rain has come about a month and a half, almost 2 months early. We wouldn't normally get rain for quite a while now. Let's see. I'm just gonna drop in some of this color. It's not too runny, the color that I've mixed up here. It's a little wet, but it's not too bad. You'll see it start to move a little bit. I've got a puddle here I need to get rid of. And I've got a little pool here I need to get rid of. I want it to stay wet. I don't want it to puddle. So I'm just looking up the reference photo here on how I want to do this. I've got this little area here. Let's do this. And this is gonna look a little strange, I think. I'll hold it up for everybody to see here in just a minute so you can get a closer look at it, but I think it's gonna look a little strange to everyone. Oh, I wish I hadn't done that. And this isn't exactly gonna match where the rust is at on this tractor. And of course, you know my philosophy is that that doesn't really matter at all. What matters is, are we getting some color on there? Does it kind of look neat? Does it have the basic shapes that we need? After that, it can look like whatever it wants to. Because I'm not trying to duplicate that tractor. I'm pointing up there because it's on my screen. I'm not trying to duplicate that tractor. I'm using that tractor as an inspiration for what my painting is. So if it doesn't look the same, I'm not concerned about it. I'm excited that I'm doing something new. How about that? I think that's an easier way to think about your painting. And this way I don't have to stress about duplicating that. I don't have to worry if it doesn't look exactly like it's supposed to, right? Like it's supposed to. Nope, this frees me up to just use that as inspiration. Okay, so here's the body of my tractor. I think you can see. I told you I'd pick it up. There you go. You can see I've got all these rust spots on there, similar to the reference photo, but I've got a lot more rust down here. I've got a lot more rust in the front. I think it gives it a little bit more interest, right? Okay, so Jacqueline says, don't worry, our brains do fill in the blanks. Jacqueline, you've watched me before. I have a friend, and she's a wonderful watercolor artist. I actually haven't seen her paint anything in a while. I haven't talked to her in... Okay, so maybe I'm a bad friend. Maybe a year or so. And she was always like... she said, suggest, don't state. Right? Meaning, suggest that something is here. Don't hit your viewers over the head with what is there. Just suggest that something's there. Their brains will fill in everything else, and I gotta do this. And you'll end up with a better photo. They'll have a better photo, a better painting. They'll have a better experience. It's just better all around. Okay, so I have to move now to something that is not touching this blue. And I have to do this so that I don't touch that blue. You all know I'm famous for putting the palm of my hand right in some nice wet paint. I'm gonna try very hard not to do that this evening. It'd make me very upset if I did that. So let's see. I haven't heard from Minty or Thirsty. Are you guys out there this evening? Minty, Thirsty, anybody? They're usually here watching. Minty Mintington or Mr. Thirsty for a Brew. Haven't heard from you. If you're out there, give a shout. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to regale you all with some other tales of something. I should say, I do have some good news. I don't remember. I don't remember if I said it before. I can't. My brain is like, it's going. I, I, if I want to sell it, I have found a buyer for a previous painting. Actually, I've already given it to him. Oh, Terry is here. Welcome, Terry. Good to have you here. The painting, I think I showed it. It's one of my mashup paintings. It's the one that I call Chickensaurus. Is on its, or it's probably, I should say probably, it may not definitely be, but it's probably on its way to a better home. Lineback Center's here. Hello. You're late, but only barely. You're fine. Having dinner with your dad is a wonderful thing to do. I would, well, I don't know that I want to have dinner with your dad, but I would love to have dinner with my dad. I'm sure your dad's nice too. I just don't know him. Jacqueline says, do you have your board on an angle? I do, Jacqueline. That's a good catch. My desk is it's not nearly as slanted as some people have theirs. I would say it's 3 degrees, maybe 5 degrees tilted. Not much, but it's enough that it gives me just a touch of control over what I'm doing. It's not a lot of control, and I think you all here have painted a little bit of watercolors before. You know that, of course, water is such a strange medium that as soon as you believe you've got a little bit of control, it takes it right back away from you. It wants to show you that you really don't have any control. The water is really in control, and it does what it wants to do. So it is very slightly slanted, a couple of degrees, not very much at all. I had it slanted much more, and I had a hard time with it. So I lowered it way back down. I might put it up a degree or two more, but for now, I'm comfortable with the way it is. So a couple of degrees is all. Lab accident. Your dad's a goofball. He's fun to hang out with, but this was my last chance to see him in town before he goes over to Spain. Wow. Wait, he's going to buy a house to fix. Wow. Okay. That's brave. The first thing I'm going to say is, wow. I don't know that I could fix a whole house, so I am a bit envious. And the next thing I'm going to say is, it sounds like something my dad would do. I think until the most recent house that my father lived. Oh no, I was going to say that's not true. I was going to say I think my dad built every house that he's ever lived in, but that's not true. The house I grew up in, he didn't build, but he built the house before that, and indeed after that. And all he did in the house that I grew up in was add an upstairs bathroom where there was no plumbing or anything. Actually, my house was part of the Underground Railroad, the house I grew up in. That's kind of a neat historical thing. So he put a bathroom in upstairs, including running all of the water and electrical up there. He added a porch onto the front. He put in a fireplace. He built a fireplace in the basement so that we could heat. He built a hot water system to heat our house in the winter. He renovated every room in the house. He put in a laundry room. He added a bathroom half a bath in the downstairs. I don't know, just a few things. Margaret, those mashup paintings crack me up so funny. How did I come up with ideas for those? I don't. Yeah, that's a good question. So my original idea was only that I wanted to do the flamingo with human legs. And I went, this will be great. I can't imagine doing something that's funnier than that. And I have that picture hanging in my office. And honestly, every time I look at it, I giggle. I can't look at it without giggling. I just can't. It's funny. And then I went, I got such a kick out of painting that because I didn't have to be perfect about anything. The concept wasn't about, painting necessarily a flamingo, because if you look at it, you'll see a flamingo, but your thought isn't flamingo. You'll look at it and you'll go, oh my God, it's a flamingo with human legs. And I thought the idea was hysterical. So then I went, literally, I went, what else could I do? What else would be funny? And I just was thinking, my daughter likes snails. And I was like, I have a jean jacket that I like all the time. I wear all the time in the winter. It's my winter coat. It's one of those old, I say I'm wearing it as a winter coat. Those of you who have actual winter where you're from, you're going, really? That's a winter coat? But for me, it's a winter coat. It's one of the old Levi's jean jackets with the fake calfskin lining in it. I love it. I love it. So I was like, well, I'm gonna do something with a jean jacket. I have it right here. And so I thought, well, shoot, what would be funnier than somebody wearing a jean jacket with a cow head? Look, and he's got his tongue sticking out in his nostril. So I thought that would be funny. That would be a hoot. And then I did some more research. And I was like, okay, I don't know why I glommed on snails. Look. So then I was like, okay, I need to do a snail. But what can I do to replace the snail shell with? Well, okay, I'm going to do some donuts. I'm trying to figure out some other stuff. And if you have any ideas, shoot them my way. I'm open to ideas. I think they're hysterical. Let's see. So that's it. I sat here and looked through some pictures, and then I was like, okay, what can I do can I do mashups for Halloween? I was trying to think about that. And then I saw an old picture of a turtle that I painted. So I might do this. And their flippers are like this, right? So that reminded me of, the old Navy Corsair airplanes, how they have the wings that would fold up. They had kind of like this. I was like, I wonder if I could do a sea turtle with airplane wing flippers. I thought that'd be kind of neat. So I might do that one. I don't know. I don't know, anything you can do to have some fun with it, right? Because why would you not? Why? You might as well have some fun with it. Let's see. I'm nuts and you get nuts. I'm really hysterical. I'll tell you a story here in just a second. Let me see. The main house is modernized already. It has the gatehouse and the old kitchen building fixed. 16th century. Oh my God. 16th century. That's crazy. We don't have anything that old here. It's crazy to think about something from the 1500s that's still around. How is that possible? Still around. Okay. Now, I told you that this whole area in here is much rustier, I think is what I said. Much more rustier. So I'm going to get a little bit of this blue, and I'm just going to drop a little back here. Back by the tire. And I don't know, here, there. That's it. The rest of everything in there is going to be this rusty kind of a color. It's gonna be fantastic. I would just let's see. I am hysterical. You know what? I've painted so many things, and I've looked through so many pictures of things to paint. And this is not a sob story or anything like that, but it's a weird thing that I noticed the other day. As I'm looking for things to paint, I'm like, well, I've painted, you kind of fall back on things you like. I'm like, well, I've painted that before. Well, I've painted that before, and look at some other pictures. Oh, I've painted one of those before, and I painted two of those before, and I'm like, what else is there for me to paint? So, some people try to push themselves by painting things that are, on different surfaces, or maybe a different medium or something like that. Well, I could do that, I suppose. The problem with that is that I really love watercolors. I love the look of watercolors. I love the feel of watercolors. They've treated me well, and I don't want to have to learn a whole bunch of new stuff. And like I don't want to have to learn oil paints just to be creative. I don't want to have to learn acrylics just to do some other expression. So what else is there? Well, change what I'm doing, right? Hey, there's Thirsty for a Brew. Welcome. And so why would I not do some mashups that make it fun to paint and allow for, that little extra bit of creativity in there? Why would you not? I'm just kind of rounding over the edges of some of those tires there a little bit. And I got a little bit of color right back here. I'm going to drop in on this wheel. So here's here's my little story. If I didn't tell you before, I have that flamingo painting with the human legs, and I texted it to my daughter, and the first thing she texted back is, I'm blocking you. I knew as soon as she said that I was onto something good. She's gonna block me. Perfect. I'm on the right track. And then I showed it to my wife, and the first thing she said was, "Why would you do that?" And I went, all that means is this is the most art-ish thing I have ever painted. This has evoked more of a reaction in 1 minute than I've gotten out of my family in all of my paintings for years combined. So for me, it was worth it just for that. It's so funny. So funny. It's worth every cent just to do that. Thirsty, what is happening, buddy? How are the dogs? I was gonna do that. I'm not show you anything about the dogs, but I always talk about my chickens, right? I love talking about my chickens. I'm gonna let this dry, and I'm thinking about what I want to do here next. But I want to, if I can do this real quick. Oh, what is going on with my phone? Yeah, okay, hold on just a second. Let's see, I have look at this. Where is it? Oh, here they are. Can you see the birds sleeping here? Yesterday they were all sleeping in the wrong spot. Well, this one here, that's Betty. She was sleeping in the right spot, but this one was over there, that one was here, and that one was there. Everybody was all mixed up. Priscilla, Pecky, and Pumpkin there. So my chickens, I love my chickens. They're so funny. Okay, I've thought about it. I think what I need to do is I'm going to start over here and I'm going to start painting the tires around this way. And I'm going to, oops, I didn't mean, well, I'll put it in the blue. I think I'm mostly, I don't know. I might have to clean this off. What I'm going to do is a mix of, I guess, blue at this point with some Payne's Gray and a little bit of neutral tint. Neutral tint's got kind of a purpley color. The Payne's Gray it's a blue gray, so it's a bluish grayish color anyway. That's why that blue didn't really matter. And since this is dry, I can feel that that's dry. Going to just drop in some color here. Just a little bit of color on the wheels. And I just thought about this. I didn't pre-wet this. And I'm hoping I don't end up with some weird tide lines on here, but we'll try to paint quickly and see how it goes. Yep, see, I've already got one right there. Look, I don't know if you can see it. This B paper is such odd paper. I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to do this one wheel, and then I'm going to pick this up and show you. That spot, it's just such an odd thing. Everybody's gone quiet all of a sudden. Everybody's gone quiet. Quiet too. And at any rate, I hope that everybody's having a wonderful week this week. I'm just going to say to you all that this is probably the stressiest week at my work that I will have all year. This is, you all know I work at a university, and this is start of term. And start of term means everybody is on campus. For us, this is the first time in 2 years, 3 years that everybody, and I mean everybody, is on campus. Right? The previous few years, for some such affliction that went around the globe that I'm not going to mention, not everybody has been on campus, but we're all there now, and I will say there are a lot of people who are a little stressed out. So it's a bit of a stressy time. You know what? I told you I was going to show you that spot, and then I just painted right over top of it with some a little bit heavier mix of paint. So now you can't even see it. But that looks kind of like a wheel there, right? Yeah, kind of. I don't know. Light is coming in from one of these directions there. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. Everybody's quiet. It's always weird to me when it goes quiet. I always want to look at it. Am I offline? Again, did I do something wrong? Is everybody just wrapped with what I'm doing? What's going on? But that's okay. I'll continue to talk. I'll carry the conversation on my own. You're just going to have to listen to me is all. And so I told you the colors I'm using. Oh, anyway, what I was saying, this is busy time at work. No worries, you're here. Good. Busy time at work. This week I have, believe it or not, yet to take a lunch break. I've been so busy that I just haven't felt that I've had the time to take a lunch break and sit down. And I don't eat a whole lot at lunch anyways, but I suppose that's not really the point. Let's see, I'm going to paint this tire up about like that. I don't know. That kind of looks like a tire, I think. I'm going to roll with that and let that be that tire. And I'm going to paint this one back in the back here. One more tire to go, and then I won't be able to paint this tire because that one's wet. So we'll have to come back up here and paint some in the body up here. Who was it who told me I wasn't going to finish in an hour? Oh man, I'm at 40 minutes. 40 minutes already. Yeah, I might not finish in an hour. Which is fine. Let's talk about where we get our reference photos. Okay, sure. Let's do that. The place, I will say, the place I always try first, okay? And I've talked about the place before, but I try to get mine from PMP-Art. It's a place that allows for people to post their personal photos and whatnot, and allows for artists to go and grab those and use those as they see fit to try to learn how to paint and do whatever. So I look there first. I will tell you, if you're an artist learning painting, right? Let's say watercolors, and you look there, there are a lot of photos. Most of them are bad. Most of them you're never going to want to use. Honestly. Terrible. But you do occasionally find some that you like and totally use those. The next place I try to look is Pixabay. Pixabay. And if you give me a second, I'll look real quick to make sure that's what it is. Yes, Pixabay, Pixabay, Pixabay.com. They have a lot. And then, what's the other one that I use? Can't find it. It's not coming up in my history right away. But those are the ones I would use right away and not worry about where you can or what's going on with them. There should be no issues using those at all. I'm a little leery of some of the other, maybe not so documented sites. Let's say it that way. I don't want to get in trouble. I really don't. Okay, I'm gonna start to put on a couple of details here. PMP, Jacqueline uses PMP. Terry, yes. Paint my photo, right? You know, it used to be Paint My Photo. It's no longer actually Paint My Photo. It's PMP Art. But yes, it is what used to be Paint My Photo, which is where they got the PMP. But did you guys hear? I think the neighborhood cat just walked across the roof of the garage. heard something. Just going real lightly. I'll show you here in just a second. I'm not convinced you can even see. It's just really light. We're just trying to get a little bit of something on here. Whoops, let me get one more line here. I don't want to change the color of the tractor all that much. Right, I'm kind of happy with the way the color is on here for the most part. I think we did a good job on our first layer. I don't think we need to put anything down after that. But I want to get a couple of lines on there because there is some dimensionality on the hood here. And then definitely underneath here, a dark line, and just blend that out so that we get a little bit of something. And then a lot of the rest of this is going to be from inside here. Actually, look at this. We got this little, I suppose this is a cup kind of that goes over top of maybe an exhaust valve over here somewhere, something like that. Let's put that down. Michelle from Vancouver. You're here just in time. Terry, you've not heard of pretzels before. It's a pretzels. No, Pexels. P-E... Pretzels. Wait. Pretzels. I don't know. Pretzels. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I've heard of Pexels. Yes, Pexels. P-E-X-E-L-S. Right. ZC is here. Welcome. ZC, I'm glad you're here. Great old tractor. Glad I didn't miss everything. No, you're just in time to see all the good stuff at the end. You know, I say that with fingers crossed and simultaneously knocking on wood. Let's see. I need to look here. I'm gonna do this. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my middle-sized brush. I don't know if you've noticed. I haven't really said. I've been swapping back and forth between three sizes of brush here. I'm gonna go to my middle-sized brush. It happens to be an 8, but you guys know how brushes are. An 8 in brushes for one company is a 6 or a 4 or some other such thing. So I'm just calling it my middle-sized brush that I'm using. I'm going to put a little bit of this rust color down here, and I'm going to draw it out a little bit. I want to maintain some of that blue down there. There we go. Look at that. There we go. We're starting to build up. It's just so small. We're starting to build up a little dimension under there. And maybe I'll do the same thing just up above. What are we still talking about? Sorry, Terry, Kim, texting without glasses. Texting without glasses, and you got caught up by autocorrect. Autocorrect went, I don't have any idea what Pexels is, but I do know what pretzels are, and then he tried to tell you. Oh, Terry, you also buy old books for reference. That's a great idea. I also have a friend of mine. I don't think she's on here tonight. If she was, that'd be awesome, but I don't think she is on here tonight. She gave me Westways magazine. Is that what it is? Westways, I think Westways magazine. Anyways, she's given it to me before with little tabs on it, little sticky tabs on it going, hey, you should paint one of these, or hey, you should paint one of these. And so she gave me a new last month or 2 months ago um, a copy of it, and it's got blue-footed boobies on it. And so she was like, "Hey, you should try painting some of these." And I've painted them before, and they're actually pretty adorable to see, and they're fun to paint. So I probably will be painting some blue-footed boobies. But old magazines, just like old books, are great to get reference photos from. The other thing, so I would encourage people, and I bet most people don't think to do this, but it's kind of a fun exercise. Lab Accident, welcome back. Welcome back. Is you could get some old magazines or art books or something like that and try to imitate the images that are in there, right? That's a great way to try to figure out how somebody did something. If you're wanting to experiment with some painting or something like that, get an old magazine that has some old paintings in there and duplicate it. See if you can do that. That's always fun to do. And sometimes you learn quite a lot. Going to get thought about pretzels. You're going to get some pretzels now. So I've done that before. Just grab an old book. I got a whole stack of watercolor painting books over there that for a while I was looking at all of the color slides. Some of the books are quite old, but I was looking at the slides in some of those books, and I was like, well, I wonder if I could paint this, or how that would turn out, or, what would this look like if I painted it? And just tried to go through some of that. So that's kind of a thing to do. If you had any interest in that, let's see, let me give me a little bit of darker color here. Where's my Payne's gray? Terry, you have a glass of wine tonight. Did you bring enough to share with all your friends? Because if you didn't, I'm going to have to... You got a glass of wine, and all I have is Diet Fanta. Mmm. 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 Nearly natural lime flavor. That's good. Mmm. Nearly good. I'm all out of my Tang. I'm so disappointed I ran out. I'm going to have to order some more. Nobody in the world except for me would drink Tang. And I'm like, are you kidding? This is great stuff. It went to the moon, You logged onto my Twitch stream last night, but couldn't get the chat to work. Oh, yeah. The sound kept cutting out. The sound for me, I'm just going to tell you, the sound for me started badly. And when I say badly, I mean not on. You can't get any worse than not existent. And then I got that straightened around, and I thought it went pretty well after that, as far as I'm concerned. But I'm sorry you had issues. I don't like that. The problem at the beginning was all me. If you tuned in at the beginning and you went, there's no sound. That part was me. I don't know what has gone on with this computer, but it really is. It's trying to. I turn it on, and the microphone especially has issues. So last night I was talking. I'm like, okay, it's on. It was on last time, or last time I used it, everything was good. and I turn around and it's not doing anything, and I open the control panel and it's not even there. It's not even listed. How did that happen? I used it 2 days ago and it was perfect. Used it now and it's not. I can't figure it out. Look, does it look like we have some kind of... I'm just painting around. I have a couple of things drawn here. I'm just kind of painting around them. No real rhyme nor reason why I'm painting around one thing and not painting around something else. And look, it looks like there's stuff in there, right? Terry, you've never had Fanta? Really? Okay, well, I'll give you, I'll fess up with you. I had never had a Fanta until, well, a few years ago. I don't drink a whole lot of soft drinks. I just don't. No particular reason. I'm not against them or anything. I just don't typically drink them. But my wife loves soft drinks, and so she had a Fanta, and so I was like, well, I'll try a Fanta. Let's see how a Fanta is. And it was, I don't know, it was fine. Be very careful with copyright. That is absolutely true. Absolutely. Let's see. Dana, you find a lot of your old painting ideas from old books or magazines. It's a good challenge to, right? It's a good challenge to see if you can't do some of a particular picture. I don't know that, you know, and this is me. I don't want to do a lot of duplicating of pictures, but you are right. If you can duplicate it, then it's a great challenge. Just to be able to get the picture out and draw it and paint it in whatever interesting style you want to paint it in, oftentimes is a good challenge for you, and fulfilling. When you get it done, you're like, yes, and you look at the original and you're like, yes, it matches. I did it. You get a good feeling about it. See, I've got kind of an axle here that I need to paint in a little bit. I'm going to try to keep this in the center so you guys can see what I'm doing. There's my axle. Wow, it's starting to look like a real tractor, isn't it? Look at that. It's funny how that a couple of brush strokes here and there, the internal gubbins, the workings here, right? They're looking good. I don't know what any of that is. I just mostly, even when I drew it, I wasn't trying to draw it as whatever's in that reference photo. I just went, well, there's a kind of a pipe here, and there's a smaller hose here, and there's kind of a cylinder here, and that's all I kind of drew it as. And now all of a sudden it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I need to put this needs to be a little bit darker here. All right, I'm going to leave it like that. I think when I get this tire on this side, now I've got this in the middle, look. This kind of ran all over the place right there. And I don't know what to do with that. It ran a lot more. Maybe I'll just take a little bit of that out and let it do some other stuff. But it looks like there's stuff going on in there. There's not. I didn't do anything. I promise you. You saw me. I didn't do anything. But it looks like there's a lot going on in there. While I've got my I almost said ochre, my burnt umber out. Just going to put in a little bit of this wheel here. This doesn't have to be perfect either. Whoever looks at this, their eye isn't going to go, oh, there's not a perfect circle inside that wheel. It's not going to matter. You just want something to give the illusion of some roundness. Maybe we'll put a little track on here. I do want to, maybe I don't need to, but I do want to differentiate the side of this tire from the tread area. So I am going to put on just a little bit of a line here. And if I wanted to, I could drop in a line or two here for some tread. And voila, look, all of a sudden, voila, I've got a tire. Easy as that. Dana, you... Axel, did I say, am I making up words again already? I've only been going for an hour and I'm already making up my own words. It's very Axel-y. Let's see, I try to do most of my own drawings. I will admit every now and again I get a little assist, but I try to do most of my own. Perfect example of suggestion and viewers' eye fills in the rest. Exactly. There's a couple of lines on this, and all of a sudden now you can see there's a little center spoke, hub, axle. No, axle. I don't know. A little thing sticking out here, but I drew a couple of lines. It's not, I don't know what we're calling it, but it's there. That's it. Let's see. You could have put an abstract chicken, and I wouldn't have known the difference. Now you're not tractor savvy. An abstract chicken. All right. And look back here. Look back here. I just put some lines in here, right? A couple of lines. Line here. All of a sudden, what does that look like to you? Right? It's got treads on it all of a sudden. I didn't do anything, and it's automatically got those treads on it. I didn't have to do anything with it. They're just there. This is part of what really gets me so excited about watercolors is you can put in a lot of work and you can do a lot of stuff and you can stress and struggle and do all this other stuff, and then you'll just put a couple of lines in there at the right time and the paint does everything for you. It's amazing. Okay. All right, calm down, Michael. Calm down. Deep breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, we got to tackle this big back wheel here. And I think to tackle this big back wheel, I need to get a bigger brush. So away goes the middle-sized brush. Out comes the larger brush. Oh, I'm gonna pre-wet it. That's what I'm gonna do. Well, I've got a little bit of color on here, but now here's the key, or here's something we need to look for, okay? And I talk about this all the time, and it's very important for a couple of reasons, but I need to keep, well, I either need to make this wheel in front, this tire in front, a lot lighter than that one in back, or I may need to make it a lot darker. I can't have them both the same, because if they're both the same, they're going to try to blend into each other. And even if I have them the same intensity, right? The same saturation of color, but different colors, I run the risk of them blending together. Because not everybody's eyes pick up color variation the same as others' eyes, but you will pick up the intensity of the color. Everybody's eyes pick up the intensity of the color. So it's either got to be lighter or it's got to be darker. One of the two, I have to decide which it's going to be. And I don't know yet. I'm going to get this all on here. I'm hoping to get it on fairly quickly before it dries. And then we'll take a look at it. Normally, I would, if it's closer to you, it's got to be darker in color. In general, that's true. But it's not always true in the short term. So I'm gonna take a look at this as soon as I get this on here and see if I want it to go darker and how much darker I want it to go. And I got to do the same thing over here, and I'm risking it being a little bit darker here with my mix. I didn't mix it quite like I wanted to, but let's take a look. Okay, good. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this part lighter and make this part much darker over here. So give me some of this neutral tint, a little bit of sepia, and some of my Payne's gray. We all following along? We all following along? And I'm going to make this a bit darker over here. If there's somebody walking around outside. I wonder if somebody's going to knock on my studio door here very shortly. Everybody knows. Everybody knows it's my day. Wednesday is my day. It's a live stream. Everybody knows. Okay, so here we are. And then coming up the side, I think what I'm going to do is, after I put my finger in the paint, I'm going to put in a couple of lines here. And then darken on the inside. Right? Darken on the inside. This might have been just still a little bit too wet. I did this, but I think it's going to be okay. Okay, especially if I can turn it around this way. And look, I didn't do anything to it. I didn't put any kind of hump or bump on here, really. Nothing. I'm going to put a little hump or bump on here. Oh, come on. I need more paint, less water. Because these tractors have a kind of a... There. Okay, good. Now I'm done. I'm done with the tires. I think I'm done with the tires. I'm not done with the tires. I need to clean out this. There we go. Now I've got a highlight that goes all the way around, right on the side of that tire. Okay, and now I'm done with it. Look at the tread. I didn't do anything to actually paint this tread in. I put a couple of lines here, and it looks like there's tread going boop, 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 all the way around. I love that about watercolors. You could have done it with something else. I don't know, maybe. Sure, probably. I don't know. Can you do that in oils? Can you do that in acrylic? I don't have any idea, but all I know is that in watercolors, man, it's cool. It's a cool effect. Let's see, I didn't draw a circle here, did I? I gotta draw. This is a bigger circle here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but something close to a circle would be nice. That's dry, that's dry, that's dry. All right. And now I can I don't know which way my light is coming from. Now I can. I think I've messed up where I think I've messed up where my light is coming from. That's fine. It doesn't matter. Let's put some shade over here on this side of it. I love the way granulating colors react. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I could talk. One day I'm going to do a show, and there won't be any painting involved. It's just going to be me talking for 2 hours about why I like watercolors. I'm going to do a podcast. Each week I'm going to talk for 3 hours, and it's just going to be about color. And that's it. That's it. Nothing else. No guests, no commercials, no other topics, nothing like that. It's just me blathering on for an hour about different colors and why they're cool and why I like them. Yeah, granulated colors are so neat. The way they drop out. You can see in here, it must be the neutral tint, but you can see without doing anything that it looks like there's little pebbles. Now, the B paper is pretty smooth, so it doesn't cause granulation near as much as some other paper does. But it's such a neat thing. Yeah, you're right. The granulation is really cool. People should talk about it. We should be talking about it because it's so neat. I'm telling you, I don't think it's easy to do granulation like that. Get that level of texture in any other medium. Natalie says, did anyone do the pre-show chat tonight? I did. I was there. This guy. I will admit, I did get there a little late. But I was there at 7:30 something, 7:37. I think I turned it on. Some such thing as that. Somewhere in there. I stayed on until 5 minutes before. Last week I had music. Today I was just talking about what I was going to do. It was just me. It was just me. I was there all alone, all by myself. That's okay. It's one of those things. It'll take on a life of its own. We'll all figure it out together. And if it doesn't happen, then you know what, it wasn't meant to be. But I'm going to continue to give it a try, and we'll see how it goes for a few more weeks. All right. Is this looking like a wheel yet? Is this recognizable? I hope so. I hope it is. Oh, I'm looking up here. It's looking cool. It's starting to look cool. Wait, who wanted the tractor? Who wanted the... What's her name? Carrie? I don't know. Let's see. Oh, sorry, Erlen. I tried to log in yesterday. That's fine, Natalie. It's totally fine. Like I said, I'm totally not worried about it. It's one of those things I was like, oh, this would be cool. just something a little unscripted. Not that this is scripted, but even a little bit more unscripted, and just something fun. And maybe people are a little freer there because it doesn't doesn't the recording doesn't stay. It does, it's just a straight thing, and I could have music and just have some fun with it. And like I said, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's fine. Shmiki has some. Jacqueline says Shmiki has some amazing extra granulating watercolors. I'm still. So here's my problem, Jacqueline. I'm still trying to figure out exactly, and I think I know the answer to my own question, if this is indeed a question. The way exactly I want to use granulating colors, because now you've seen me paint for a while, and you're seeing me try to do things a little bit more in one layer, right? I'm trying to do things more in one layer. Is it working? I don't know. Maybe it's working. Maybe it's not. We can debate that. Whether it is or whether it isn't. But I always find it a little hard to figure out how and where to use the granulating colors, because I like to put on a number of different layers. And as soon as you start putting on more layers, then it covers up the layer before, fills in a lot of the previous layer, and it makes it harder to see that granulation. I think the answer is, just like I did the tire here, and the tire looks alive. Look at it. It looks alive. The answer really is, don't put on all those layers. I think, when it comes down to it, that's just going to be what it is. And I'll have to go with that. But I sometimes struggle with how to do that, right? Lexner Jet, do you do graffiti? I don't. I have a friend who has graffitied half of the other southern states in America. Maybe she's still doing it. If she hasn't been caught, she's probably still doing it. I don't know. But I don't do a lot of graffiti. It's not really my thing. Let me grab this real fast. These are my Daniel Smith paint, not the ones I have over. These are my M-Gram paints. I love my M-Gram paints. I probably will never move away from using M-Gram paints as, my base paints. I'll always fall back on these. I love my M-Gram paints. But I do have other kinds of paints, and I have a whole palette of Daniel Smith, and look at some of the granulation in it. Look how this falls out to blue and pink, that purple, that imperial purple, and the moon glow and the lunar blue. Holy cow, lunar blue's got a lot going on in that. The Cascade green has a lot. The green Appetite Genuine, look, it's got green and purple in it. It really drops out. And this is not the most granulating paper. If you had a really granulating paper, this would probably be even crazier. So I have those colors. I'm just struggling a little bit to figure out exactly how to use those. Let's see. I've been painting in watercolors almost Jacqueline, what does that mean? Granulated colors are pretty in skies. Ooh, interesting. I could use some of those in skies. Well, that'd be a dark gray sky. Jacqueline, you've been painting 35 years, infinite layers. Infinite layers. Oh, holy cow. Okay. I'm looking at this. I'm going, oh, wait a minute. I've got all this area in here that I didn't paint. I got stuff that I can't. I'm, I need to pick up the pace a little bit. Okay, I've got a more of a red here. I know I have a seat in here. Is this dry? Okay, I can't paint that. What I can paint up here, I'm going to grab a little bit of this turquoise and put it in. I love doing this. Turquoise in Payne's gray. And you get a beautiful metal-ish color. A little bit more Payne's gray. Come on. Get a beautiful color of metal and or glass. Sometimes I use, if there's like a dark glass. So this is some kind of little exhaust stack right there. It doesn't need a whole lot to it. Can have that little bit. That's totally fine. Is this wheel hub dry? We need to, while I'm waiting for that to dry, give me a little bit of this. I'm getting to the point here where you see my palette's getting quite dirty. It's got a lot going on here. And I've got a lot of colors all over. I'm about to clean all this off. But we'll see how that goes. This in here, let's hope this is dry enough. This in here's mostly this blue color. And this is part of the tractor back here, but it's too bright. It's too bright. I can't possibly have that be that bright, right? That's kind of the working part of the tractor back there. That must have some dirt and rust on it. So let's just, I'm gonna add some of this color to it, but that's not gonna do anything more than just kind of dull that color down a little bit. And in here, I didn't even see, I don't know what I was doing. I don't even have the wheel in here. Probably, I bet you, if I hadn't even put the wheel in here, if I hadn't drawn any of this wheel in here, you know what would have happened? Nothing. Nobody would have ever noticed. I'll bet you. It goes up like that somehow. I don't know. That's it. There's my wheel inside there. That may not be right. Probably not right. But it's there. And I need to mix up a little bit more of my rusty color. Most of this rust color, I don't know if I mentioned it, Perylene, maroon Perylene, and come on, Michael, come on. I have it right here. Burnt umber. Shoot, you can even mix in a little bit of this yellow ochre if it seems a little too bright. If that maroon Perylene, it's kind of like alizarin crimson. It's an intense color, and it can really kind of reach out and seem much brighter, much more intense than it needs to. So if I don't expect that most people would have maroon Perylene in their palette, you could say that I wouldn't have it in mine if I hadn't gotten it on sale at some point. But I have it and I use it, and it's actually a lovely color. If I didn't have it, I'd be using a lot more Permanent alizarin crimson. Oh my God. Jacqueline, you have it in yours? I'm going to ask you a question. Why? It is a lovely color. I don't mean to say you shouldn't. It's a lovely color. I do like it. But it's not really a normal color. There we go. Okay, so we got some more of our tractor in here. When that dries, I think that it's going to be okay. We've got some internal parts here. I'll put a little bit of something on there. We've got a seat here. I omit alizarin crimson. I have quinacridone rose. I have quinacridone rose. That's another lovely color. All right, here's a seat. I'm gonna try to get some of this purple in here. This purple is pretty granulating. All of the it's cobalt violet. I want it to look as though it's just there's a bit of a shadow underneath here. That's the only reason I'm using it. I probably should have just used a little bit of blue in there to keep in the basic color scheme, but that's a seat in there, is what that is. Let's get it a little bit over on this side too. I don't know. Farmer's got to sit on both sides of that wheel, maybe. There it is. There's our seat. Okay, so we got just about everything done the way we want. Just about. Shoot, I haven't even done the one thing that I thought was going to really help this. I haven't put in any of the bolts that are holding these wheels on. None of them. And you know what? I don't think you miss it. And D others that take the place of alizarin crimson. And D others. Oh no, I don't know. But you have it. Alizarin crimson is just such a strong color. It really is. Okay, now we're coming down the home stretch here. We really are. Where am I at? I'm at an hour and 23 minutes. We're coming down the home stretch. I'm going to do two things. First of all, I'm going to get a bigger brush. This is a Dana quill brush, squirrel quill brush. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean out a bay here. I'm using the squirrel quill brush because one, sorry, got my glasses under your chair. Oh no. The squirrel quill brushes, I love them. If I thought I could get away with only using these, I would. I love the look of these. I love the feel of these. I love the way the squirrel hair captures the paint, and I love the way it puts it down on the paper. So they're lovely, lovely, lovely brushes. However, they don't keep a good tip always. You've got to be a better artist than me if you can keep the tips firm and straight. And you can see on this one, it doesn't always come to the finest point. This one, even this big, super big brush comes to a finer point than this one. Having said that, I love, love, love these brushes. If I could find a good set of these that mimicked that squirrel feel and still kept the point of These synthetic brushes that I have from King Art, I would buy them in a second. I haven't quite found that yet. Still looking. It's just the water retention that the natural squirrel hair has is amazing. Amazing. Jacqueline, the Petite Gris. I have the 419 series Petite Gris from somebody. Da Vinci. From Da Vinci. And they are wonderful. Super, super wonderful brushes. Let's get a little bit more of a turquoise sky out here. Right? I'm going to drop some color in somewhere, and then I'm just going to blend it in. Try Escoda. Yeah, there's only one problem with trying Escoda brushes. Escoda brushes are expensive. they're not cheap. But you might be right. Escoda does make some wonderful brushes. I might do that. The thing that's stopping me from doing that and spending that money is that these brushes I got from King Art are wonderful brushes. They're great. I have no reason to stop using them other than if I want to do a large wash like this. Ooh, look at that sky. I painted it upside down and I turned it this way. Look at it already. This is probably really why I paint my backgrounds and everything last. It's just an object sitting there, and I love the object sitting there. But man, as soon as you put that sky on, look, it pushes that background way back. It pushes the image way forward, and all of a sudden, holy cow, we've got a tractor that's got some real pull to it now. Let's see. Is this it? Is this it? Yeah, here it is. Look, Da Vinci, Petite Gris, Pure. Where does it say? Oh, 418 series. It's 418. I said 419 series. It's 418 series. Doesn't matter. It's a lovely brush. Lovely. Okay, so if you look at that picture, right, that foreground is pretty ochre-ish, isn't it? There's a lot of yellow ochre in there. It's not pure yellow ochre. Pure yellow ochre is pretty pretty intense. So I'm going to dull that down with a little bit of burnt umber. It's still going to look dirt-ish. Dirt-ish. It's going to look dirt-ish. Of course it's going to look dirt-ish. And I'm going to paint this all the way up to where I have the sky now painted. And whether that sky is completely dry or not is not going to bother me one bit because I am painting on a tilted table. So even if it wicks up, it won't wick up there very far. I don't have to worry that much about it. And most of what we need to do is just get some color on here. And once we get the color on there, then we can play with it however we want to, right? The important thing is a little bit of color here and there. Good, let's get some color on this side. All the way up. Good, good, good. Okay, now if we want to make this, more intense color over there, if we want to give a stripe of green back here. This is cobalt green. Maybe there's a little bit of green. That's a bit bright. That must have a little bit of phthalo in it. There's a little bit of green. We can spread that out a little bit. Okay. We just don't want it to be one blob of solid color coming through here. It's when this dries and it has this little mix of colors, it's going to have a lot more interest to it. gonna have a lot more interest to it. And I like to just throw a little bit of red in the foreground. Not even so much so that you're gonna see a ton of it. Right, just a little bit of red here and there. That red. Now we're gonna have to go back and we're gonna have to. I understand we're gonna have to go back and paint a little shadow to anchor this to the ground now. But that little bit of red that's in there is going to really pull this foreground forward a little bit. It's going to make it seem as though it's more towards us. Red is your friend when you're painting a foreground, and it doesn't have to be a lot, only has to be a little bit. I don't know what's in there. I don't know what's in there. I'm just putting some color somewhere. I need to come back with a little bit of the sky color back here. You like this one's loose style. It's not really, well, it has some loose elements, doesn't it? It does have a few loose elements in here. I think what's a little loose about this is the guy's brain who was painting it. Talk about loose. All right, I just want to get a little bit of this color in. This maybe could be ground over here. I don't know. There. I probably will paint some of that red anyways. All right, there. This is not, oh, come on. The other cool thing about these brushes, these mop brushes, these quill brushes, is that you don't have to dip them back in the water every time you use them. I'm doing it and then I'm patting them off on a paper towel, but you can go right back into the different colors with it. It does make a little bit of a mess on your paints, but it allows the paint to mix more on the paper, and you can get some crazy colors from doing that. Let's see, Michelle, the painting is looking great. Thank you. This one, oh, Jacqueline, you like this loose style? I was at the wrong spot. Missed the beginning. What paper am I using? I am using B paper. Several years ago, I was foolish enough. I had access to a giant paper cutter. Right, like we're talking 4 feet long. Excuse me for one moment. And I went, well, I'm paying all this money to use to buy pre-cut paper. Laura, welcome. You're not late. You're right on time. You're right on. We're just getting to the good part. I had this giant paper cutter. I went, well, I'm going to buy some rolls of paper and cut it myself. And so this is part of one of the rolls. And what I found is that if you buy a roll of paper, you've then got to have a way to flatten all that paper, because when you have something that's 3 feet long and you're trying to cut it into, I don't know, a foot long, 2 foot or foot wide or 2 foot wide, whatever strips, it goes everywhere, and you're trying to cut it, and you're trying not to touch the paper because you don't want to get fingerprints. I got a couple of fingerprints on it. You're trying not to get it all messed up, and this and that, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. As a result, I have quite a few bits of paper that I haven't used because they're still, after a few years, warped. Not warped, but they're roundish. And I've had them under a piece of or a book. I've had them sandwiched between other paintings. I've had them all over the place trying to try. It's starting to get late for me. Trying to flatten them out, and they wouldn't flatten. They just won't flatten. And so I didn't never finished using that roll of paper, but it's about time that I start to finish using it, and so I just grabbed some and going to try to use it up. Okay, I'm trying to put some trees in the background. I don't know where this tractor is at. I'm going to flip this upside down. But I imagine there's a few trees here and there where it's at. Right? There must be. There must be. It's on a farm. There's always trees on a farm. Usually trees on a farm. And so we're going to add some trees, and let's just do it. I've got mixed up here. Wet both sides and tape it down. You need to stretch the paper. You could iron. I could do that. Or, here's an idea. I could just buy it pre-cut. That's where I'm at. I could just buy it pre-cut. How cool would that be? I've tried to stretch some paper. Not my favorite thing to do. I'm sorry, it's just not my favorite thing to do. So I would rather buy either pre-stretched paper or heavier weight paper, so I don't have to do that. To me, it's totally worth it to do that. I'm not painting these trees and these are way off in the distance trees, right? I don't know where they're at, what they're doing. I don't know anything about these trees, but they're way back in the distance. Look at it. It totally looks like there's trees way back there, doesn't it? Or it will. How about this? It will. Now I got to get out of this brush because this brush is too big. I got to go to one of these. It will look like that if these trees weren't floating. This is really great painting. It reminds me of my days at my aunt and uncle's farm in New Mexico. There you go. Cool. You know what? I'm glad it brought back some good memories for you. I think that's awesome. Well, I think it's awesome on two accounts, really. One, I'm glad you like the painting. It's always nice when people like what you do. And two, I'm glad it brought back some memories because you know what? That's kind of a cool thing. That a piece of artwork can bring back some memories for you. That's kind of cool. Few. This goes to these trees back here. I've got a little extra paint on there. That's why I'm kind of fiddling with it a little bit. I know, and you're saying, well, why did you just paint that blue if indeed you're going to come back in and just paint that green right behind it? Well, I don't know. I guess because I have a thought that maybe there's going to keep a little consistency in there. I don't know. I was thinking this would. I got caught up here, and what I did was I didn't vary the color of this tree a whole lot. And now I feel like I just need to go back and change some of this color just a little bit. I don't know if I can do it on this side. I guess that's still kind of wet, isn't it? I don't know. I don't want the trees to be all the same color. The trees aren't all the same color. Trees have a little variance in color, so I want to show that. Doesn't need to be a lot. It can just be a little, and that's fine. All right, cool. Look at it. Oh, man, I'm looking at it on the screen up here. It's looking so good. So now I'm gonna do. Oh, now I'm gonna do something to ruin it. Are you? Horsewoman 2000. You really get to catch a live video. Well, you made it. I'm glad you made it. Thank you for stopping by. Suduke, can't figure out what I like more, the tires or the rust effect. Oh, well, the rust is so cool. The tires the treads came out naturally, all on their own. That's the best part of that. Okay, so, oh, do I want to do this? Okay, I don't know. So I'll tell you what I was going to do. I was going to cover this and then try to splash some little stones in here to give this a little texture, but I don't think I'm going to do that. The rust effect, you like the rust effect best. The rust is cool. The rust is cool. Rust is always cool. Rust will always be cool. I don't think there's any debating that. I couldn't tell you why that is. I just know that it is. Let's see. I'm going to clean this bay out. And we're going to mix up a little bit of, let's see, what did we decide? The shadow's kind of coming this way, right? So that way, this way. One of these two ways. I don't know. We need to go for it, Jacqueline. You're saying go for it. I think I'm going to do something a little different. I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to do something I always say don't do. Use ultramarine blue for a shadow. Do you ever post your reference photos somewhere? I have my reference photos for this posted in my Discord channel. There's a link down below. I think I'm pretty good about most of the reference photos that I do being there. Pretty good. Not completely good, but they're there. When I remember to do it, I will be honest, and it's most nights. I put my reference photo in my Discord channel. There's a whole section just reference photos, and you can find it in there. There were wheat farmers, and my family went to New Mexico every year at harvest time. Tried painting a combine. Holy cow, a combine. That's like 6 times the size of this. That would take me, well, let's see, this is 2 hours. That would take me 12 hours. I don't know if that's how that works. So now I'm trying to adjust the temperature of this. That was a bit cold. It was a bit gray. Oh, Horsewoman, you're welcome. You're welcome. My late husband and I went to New Mexico to get our horse. Interesting. I was going to say, that's one of the states I've almost never been to. But I went to the Four Corners region and put my foot into New Mexico. So I can say I've been there. Ish. Still needs the steering wheel when the sky dry. It does need the steering wheel. That's a good call. I have it drawn there. I can see it. It does still need that. What I'm trying to do is talk my way into painting this. I got too much green in that. I don't know if you can see well, I'll do it here. My tray leaks a little bit, and my green has come over into this tray. And now my blue and brown, which was going to be gray-ish, has turned a little green-ish. But that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. All right, let's be brave. I'm gonna water this down a little bit so that if we need to, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's still too wet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute you all for just a second whilst I blow dry my hair. Oh, no, I meant dry my picture. So hang on 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I think I got it just dry enough. And I'm going to stall just ever a second longer. I'm just stalling at this point. And I'm going to just sketch in my steering wheel here. Something like that. Okay, there's a steering wheel. It's in there. It is in there. Look at that. Oh man, that means there's nothing left for me to do but the shadow underneath. I can't tell you how apprehensive I get about painting shadows. To me they're not. I don't know, they're terrifying. Let's see what we can do here. Add a little bit of blue, a little bit more blue to this. See, I'm going to put just a little something in front of this wheel. And then I'll make this go about like that. Let's a little bit of blue back in there. This goes out that way, all the way to the tire, it looks like. I don't know, let's go out from there. Let's see what we can do with this. And I know that it doesn't really make that big of a difference. It's just there for your eye to know that something is there. It shouldn't be that big of a deal to me, but somehow it is. There's shadow in here. Shoot, there's a little shadow in here somehow. Let's put it in this way. That goes just through. Did I get it all? Is that all the shadow I need to put in? I think that might be it. I'm going to actually add a little bit more blue to darken up. I don't know why. I still haven't figured out why. Blue makes us all think of shadow. because shadows aren't blue, but for some reason it does. And so I'm going to put a little bit of blue in there. There, how's that? That's, oh, I'm totally stoked. And now, instead of anything else, right, I can add a few marks in the field here, like this. I don't know what these are, little ruts in here, something. Sometimes this really helps to make it look good. Sometimes it looks a little drawn on. And then I'm going to draw a couple little, how did I do the tire tread? I closed my eyes and went, please. I made the entire tire wet, put on my color, and then on these ones, I came back with a little thicker bit of paint and just drew some lines. A line, a line, a line. I drew a line, drew a line, drew a line. And I'm letting your eye, the viewer, I'm letting your eye figure out what the tire tread is. I didn't actually paint any tread. I just put a couple of lines here and there. No big deal. If it looked like a tread, it looked like a tread. If it didn't look like a tread, I wasn't going to sweat it. Because a tread is a tread, right? It's just a thing. There you go. That's going to go in front of that wheel. A couple of little blades of grass here and there. Maybe it comes out of that thing. I do kind of like painting blades of grass. They're fun. You can make them different color. The grass, you actually can make different colors. You can make it brown, you can make it red, you can make it whatever color you want. Nobody will ever say that you shouldn't have that color. So maybe there's something in front of this wheel too. Just a little bit of something there. I don't know. Here and there. This tractor's been sitting here for a little while anyway. It's got a couple of things growing around it. Oh, we got to get something growing around it back here for sure. Look at this, our flat tire back here. There's definitely got to be something growing back here. There we go. And I don't think I want to do much more than that. So you get a little indication of something going on. But there's a little bit of grass. There's a little bit of something going on there. I am actually kind of okay with the shadow there, the way it came out. All right. Jacqueline has got to go. Good night, Jacqueline. Lab accident. I have to go to bed now. I get it. It's getting late. My bedtime is normally 10 o'clock. Also, lab accident. Thank you for joining. Good night to you. MRC Studio or MCR Studio. Welcome. Hey, how you doing? Unfortunately, you're getting here right at the end. And I'm just about to sign this and call this done. I'm going to sign it right down here. There it is. And with that, I think I have a done painting in one that I really actually kind of like. I will admit I was a little dubious on whether I wanted to paint a tractor, but I like the way it turned out. I think it turned out great. Natalie, you certainly are welcome. Thank you for helping to make my evening fun. I very much enjoy having everybody here. Good night. Awesome painting. Thank you, ZC Creation. As always, everything is down below. Links to social media. I'm trying to do more on social media. Links to social media, my website, which badly needs updated. Links to donate to help keep the studio open. If you are so willing to do that, it would be greatly appreciated. You can leave comments down below, like the video, help me out a great deal. Other than that, thank you for joining me. Super appreciated. I don't know what I'm going to do next week, but I'll be back with something else fun, and we'll get on it then. So until then, thank you everybody for joining me this evening. Have a great evening. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.